We'll settle on a poll question there, Seton. What do you have for me?
There's a fun one from Dylan, as a matter of fact.
Oh, okay.
Who had a better run in their respective sport? Gregg Popovich, Warren Buffett. You could also say bigger retirement announced this weekend.
Warren Buffett stepping down. It's that Berkshire Hathaway. I would say, well, okay, whose legacy would you rather have, Warren Buffett's or Gregg Popovich? I'm going to go Warren Buffett. Yeah.
I'll go Gregg on that one.
You would?
Yeah.
Warren Buffett didn't have any losing seasons. He won the lottery every year. He got Tim Duncan and Victor Wembanyama every year. Yes, Todd?
If legacy doesn't necessarily equal money, I would go with Seton. I would take Gregg Popovich for legacy. Obviously, money is a whole other world of numbers we're talking about.
Thank you, Todd.
You're welcome.
Our starting lineup, the king of comedy, Fritzy, Mark, Paulie. Yes, Paul.
Yeah, Warren Buffett's still going. Relatively good health. I think mid-90s, 94. I saw a story on him yesterday. He told us this as well. He's in the same house that he's owned since 1958.
Yeah, I've driven by it.
It's I wouldn't say it's modest, but it's under 4,000 square feet.
Yeah. You would never know that one of the richest men in the world lives there when you drive by. But yeah, I drove by it. There have to be a lot of people as soon as they get there in Omaha. They're like, can we go over to Warren Buffett's house? Yeah. Uber driver takes you over. You drive by and you go, okay. And then that's it.
It's comfortable. I don't need a mansion. It's comfortable. Why would I move out?
That's your Warren Buffett?
Very bad.
That's pretty good.
Seton's laugh.
A lot of memories there. I'm going to stay put.
Okay. All right. I don't know if there's a big market for Warren Buffett
I don't think there
impersonations.
is. There definitely is not, as a matter of fact. I just checked.
Gregg Popovich, health-wise, needed to step down as the coach of the San Antonio Spurs. But he had that roller coaster ride where you're winning championships, and then he had that probably in any other market might have a job that was hanging in the balance. But you missed the playoffs for 5 consecutive years. And we saw this with Belichick. Then all of a sudden it's like, kind of worn out his welcome. But, Popovich is San Antonio. You can't mention San Antonio before getting to Gregg Popovich's name and what he did with those teams. I mean, extremely fortunate, but then look at these great coaches. Red Auerbach, although he was a genius, pulling off 2 of the biggest trades in NBA history, where he got Kevin McHale and Robert Parrish, and then where he traded with St. Louis Hawks and got the rights to Bill Russell, drafted Larry Bird a year early. Those 3 things, changed the NBA. So I'm gonna separate Red Auerbach because they didn't have free agency. When you drafted somebody, I mean, everybody was basically a Hall of Famer who played for the Celtics. But Phil Jackson, Doug Collins gets fired. Phil steps in. Michael Jordan's there. He's lucky they had Jerry Krause, who added some pieces so they could win championships. Phil goes to the Lakers, where they underperform. Phil comes in. All of a sudden, he's got Shaq and Kobe. You need to have great players. Great players can make a great coach. You can have a great coach. Doesn't mean you're going to have great players, great results. But, these guys all have players. They'll be the first to tell you. You got to have players. Now, you can look at somebody like Larry Brown, who had many, many, many stops. And I think Larry's one of the great coaches of all time. He was able to go. Now, part of the problem I had with Larry is he never stayed too long in one place. But wherever he went, Rick Pitino, same way. These are great, great coaches. And put them in a scenario, and they're going to win. Except for when Rick was in Boston and thought he was going to get Tim Duncan, and all of a sudden Duncan goes to the Spurs. That's when David Robinson had an injured back. And I think in April they were like, he probably tells Coach Pop, starting to feel a little better. No, you're not. No, your back's still sore. No, I think I think your back is still sore. Oh, we need more ping pong balls for getting Timmy. Okay. Got it, Coach. But then, they draft Manu Ginobili in the second round. They get Tony Parker at the end of the first round. Those are the little things, not necessarily little things, but forgotten things that help make a dynasty. Robert Horry. Look at what Robert Horry meant to these teams winning championships. Getting Kawhi Leonard. Nobody knew anything about Kawhi Leonard. He was supposed to be a defensive-minded guy. They got him mid-first round. That's where there's real genius there. And, Pop was gruff with the media. Like, we got it. There was kind of a wink. Hey, this is who, my personality. He was kind of in on the joke with it. And, my interactions with him were very limited. And he was winning championships. When the Knicks, they beat the Knicks, he didn't want to talk. That isn't who he was. He said, no, the players won the championship. I said, yeah, I know, but, we have the head coach on. He goes, yeah, I don't want to do it. Let the players do the talking. I mean, he was really selfless. But, military background, Air Force, and, I got it. Very regimented. But he's another one of those guys that his players, Brent Barry would go, man, he's funny. I said, when is he funny? He goes, not necessarily in practice, because Brent Barry used to get lit up by him all the time. He got yelled at all the time. But he said, you get a couple of glasses of wine in him, and, man, he's a lot of fun. I go, well, that's not happening. It's kind of hard to say, hey, Pop, before you sit down and do an interview, can you drink a couple of glasses of wine? But, the Patriots say that about Belichick. Man, he's got a great sense of humor. Well, I don't think I'll ever see it.